you explain a little bit to me what kind of scientific problems go into a basic robotic adventure?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. You're asking a go-to-market person, so I can barely turn my laptop on and off, but I'll give you my high-level understanding
Sure.
of the situation. Remember when I said that we're trying to build general-purpose robots that can go anywhere, can understand their environment, and then can manipulate their environment. We have mastered the go anywhere. You've witnessed Spot inside going over gravel, going up and down stairs. That robot can now go anywhere that a human can go. Having a semantic understanding of the world means that the robot doesn't only understand the world as obstacles, but understands the world that how you and I understand the world. Meaning, the robot would look at something and say, that's a human, that's a forklift, that's a piece of machinery, and here's a scene of 5 humans sitting at a table. That has only become possible with the advances in AI over the last 3 years. So now the robot can take a picture, we can send it to a foundational model, and the foundational model returns with information that is useful for the robot. Should the robot sit on a table? No, the robot should not, right? Robots don't sit on tables. So all of a sudden, these robots have more of a semantic understanding of their environment, and that's super helpful for the next step, which is then, can these robots manipulate their environment the way that you and I can? And that's sort of where most of the robotics research for us, and I think for many other companies, currently goes into. So that we're building not large language models like Anthropic, ChatGPT, right? We're building large robotics models that understand our world with the physicalities that go along with it. So a large language model understands this is a Coca-Cola can, versus a large robotics model would understand how to manipulate that particular piece of that particular object. So I think it's those 3 things together, going anywhere that a human can go, understanding our environment and then manipulating our environment, that is sort of the dream of robotics. And that would allow us then, going back to your original question, to live with these robots in harmony.
I feel like those are kind of like the 2 broad intelligences that humans have. One of them is the ability to abstract, and so do math in space. I imagine a mathematical problem and then I do it in my head. That's pure abstraction. Words are a kind of example for that. Concepts and conceptuality and categories and all these ontological things, they're all part of this LLM sort of world where the LLMs can kind of make sense. And I was speaking to one of these CEOs more recently, and I was trying to understand, my central question with them was, does an LLM truly understand us? Because it's so hard to even ask what understanding might mean in that context. Robotics, on the other hand, are working with the physical world, where it's your spatial, it's your intelligence to manipulate objects and how they operate in a predefined framework that's been made for humans. For instance, if you want to open a door, it's been made for a hand that clasps.
Yeah.
And so it's a completely different problem set, but they seem to be 2 adjacent sides to the same intelligence. Something that comes embodied in the human form already. I can reason and I can move things. Both those things are true. Do you see it like that, or have I stretched it too far?
No, I think you're absolutely right. And that's where the large language model is maybe the reasoning part, and then sort of large behavioral models or language action models where you're translating that language into an action, right? Pick up the Coca-Cola can. You have to understand, what is a Coca-Cola can? Do I currently see one in my field of vision? And if I do see one, how heavy it is, how much force do I need to exert to pick up that object without crushing it? So those all are the elements that would go into a full large behavioral model for robotics, which is what so many companies are chasing right now.
Yeah, it sounds like, for us, it's so intuitive. If I see a Coke can, I know I cannot crush it.
Yes.
And I know if I lift it with too much force, I'm going to jerk it upwards and it's all going to fall. So there is an intuitive sense of how hard must I activate my force around it. That has to be a fairly hard mathematical problem to put into code, would it not?
For sure. Yeah. And even think easier, if you have a couple of coins in your pocket and you have a car key, some coins, and a chewing gum in your pocket. You can put your hand in your pocket and you will understand what's in your pocket.
Right.
And if I tell you, hey, only pull out the coins, you can do that. That is an unsolved robotics problem. And I don't think we really understand yet how humans can do all these things. And even an 8-year-old could do it, right? So there's some really hard unsolved challenges in there, both in terms of the reasoning as well as in the dexterity and the way that our hands can feel. So there's a couple of hard challenges still in there.
That is such an interesting idea to think about your skin as a sensor that informs, because I'm sure that is a problem that you cannot necessarily solve. Like your sensors probably work on some other kind of radar or visual or camera technology. But for humans, you can touch and know what it is, and that's such.
बॉस, अगर आपको हमारी इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्वर्सेशंस पसंद है तो आपको पता होना चाहिए हम एक्सक्लूसिवली अवेलेबल हैं स्पॉटिफाई ऑडियो ओनली प्लेटफॉर्म पर भी। आप चलते हुए, ड्राइव करते हुए, ट्रेन में, सफाई करते हुए, वर्कआउट करते हुए, बातचीत करते हुए हमें सुन सकते हैं अपने कानों में स्पॉटिफाई पे। द लिंक इज इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन, प्रेस इट, सब्सक्राइब टू अस ऑन स्पॉटिफाई।